I was wondering if Tally could help me with a craft question. I'm trying to add lace to the slit of a back of a dress because the slit is too high. I was thinking of adding overlapping black lace to the slit, and I was wondering if you had any other thoughts or tips on sewing lace, keeping in mind that it would be sewing by hand.
Of course you can use prop space core.
What I had in mind is that you might want to use some sort of interfacing just along the edges of the lace, only on the inside, so you've got your piece of lace, say, cut, and it's going to show through the slit, but you've got some bits that won't show through the slit because that's, you know, they'll be hidden behind the dress.
Yep.
Exactly. So if you got some strips of interfacing, iron on too, then you could maybe iron it on and it'll stay in place while you're sewing
Making sure that you have something between the lace and the adhesive so it doesn't stick to your eyes.
Exactly. Right. But that could help, and that'll help it not shift while you sew it.
You could also try to starch it. That might make it easier to hold flat against it
while you're stitching.
There's like spray-on starches and stuff that make it a little stiffer, a little easier to work with.
Yeah, and I think if you're sewing by hand, you want to try and pick a lace that has a substantial enough. Like, you don't want a completely super lacy lace if you're trying to hide that the slit goes too high anyway, because you're trying to cover something up, right? So get something with a little more substance that will actually take stitches and not just tear.
Yeah. I have a question. If, like, I'm assuming that this being a fancy dress, it might be kind of tighter. How do you sew so that if it gets a little bit of strain, because, you know, you do something like cross your legs or like spread your legs out a little bit, then it doesn't immediately just go and rip through anyhow after all that work?
Mostly using probably just not a huge stitch. You need to be really small.
Kind of gentle stitches.
Yeah.
No, not Dr. Demento, not costumes. Whatever you have lying around. The creativity is in defending why you are wearing that.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be
like
a costume. You could put a pot on your head. You could be wearing 5 coats. Right. I'm not looking for costumes. I'm looking for the creativity in defending why you are wearing that.
Yes.
Also, I saw go by, I'm sorry to interrupt, Ocelot on a bus says, said, I got a concussion today, and mild concussion, and now have to stay up all night watching Desert Bus.
Glad to be here for you.
Since you are all doctors, can you write me a doctor's note?
I think your doctor probably would have written you a note if you got a concussion, and I hope that you feel better and there are no lasting effects.
I can't look at any challenges right now. I'm doing this.
So yeah, and I think, like, if you made the dress and you have some extra fabric, it might not be a bad idea to just practice a few stitches on a scrap
or get a
on
similar
the bottom
fabric
hem where it won't show as much. I'm trying to think if it's a satiny fabric or something like that. You probably want to get a satiny thread in case it shows through the other side, because if it's not shiny like a fabric is,
you're going to want a really nicely matching thread, whether it's shiny, whatever, because the lace, it'll be pretty apparent.
Yeah.
When did I start?
And if you're doing a stitch
after the reset.
10 a.m. If you're doing a stitch that's going to show through the fabric, because there are some invisible stitches. It depends on where you're sewing and how the dress is made there. If it has a seam along it, then you can probably hide it in that seam. But if you are, where was I going with that? Oh, if it's going to show through the fabric, I think you might want to try a little cheat. Take a pencil and a ruler. If you have a washout fabric pencil, that's great, but it'll be on the inside, so it doesn't really matter. And right along the line on the inside of the dress where you want to sew that lace down, maybe draw a little line so that you can try and follow that with your stitching, so that if it is showing through on the outside, you're going to have a straight line like you see seams instead of a bunch of hand stitches all over the place, because hand stitching is tricky.
Do you have a...
Actually, no, Priftan. I'm trying to figure out how many stops are in a row.
Real quick, it seems like lace may be fraught. Now, if this person's hand stitching, they probably don't have a sewing machine, which means they might be a sort of a novice sewer. Do you have a suggestion for what to do that could be better than lace?
Well, and they also may be hand stitching just because some of these kinds of things you can't machine stitch. It's too delicate.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily indicative, but if they are, I mean, you could just find a contrasting color of fabric that's kind of gauzy or something, but lace is probably okay.
I would say lace
Sunday at the Tacoma Dome, monster
There's
trucks.
a ton of different types of lace. They make stretchy lace. They make all different sorts of things that you could use there in place of lace that are similar, but there's
lots of options. And the other thing is, if you're not going to wear and launder the dress a ton, or if it's dry clean only anyway, you could completely skip, I think, the sewing altogether and just do an iron-on interface to stick it in place.
Yeah.
Because there's some pretty good iron-on interfaces. Just like one line on the sides where it's hidden behind the dress, and then you don't have to worry about stitches at all.
I use a lot of iron-on interfacing and hem tape.
Yep, hem tape is good.
In my rapid sewing.
Yep. Because if it's a garment you're going to wash and wear a lot, then that doesn't hold up so well. But if it's a fancy dress that you're probably only going to pull out a few times,
it might be even a little bit more sturdy.
I bought these jeans at the store.
Because the stitches will.
Good job, Greg.
If like Kathleen said, if it is a tight dress and the fabric is delicate, you may
with my own money
risk.
With your own
With my own money, I made it myself at my job.
I hope that helps.
Yeah,
I think
that was on you for crafting.
Yeah, good luck.
So Cam, you have a sonnet for us. God, we're just rapid fire now. Yeah.
So, I don't know, like an hour and a half ago, Jer asked me to accept a challenge to write a sonnet to Winston the spider.
I see. I appreciate that you took like so long to write it, because I just would have pooped something out. I would have been like.
I did poop this out, but it did take me so long.
But you poop in proper rhythm.
Yeah. So I actually bothered to do like. Go ahead. No, it's all right.
I feel you might think this is poopy, but this is actually probably very good.
All right. So I actually did this like in.
Is there some mood for this reading? Like some lights?
Is there some
classical music?
Just let
Cam speak.
Let the man speak.
Let it happen
Okay.
to you.
To Winston the camera spider. Do you mind? For cereal? Okay, I guess we're doing this. Okay. When you were first given this form, O Weaver, by the jealous god standing sentinel at the intersection of craft and war, your skill too precious, too beautiful to be taken out of our firmament, cleansed of the holy pride you could once feel, weaving filament over filament, your strong nerves over nerve and naked steel, to arrive across our lens, our focus, trying to catch something you intuit, something precious, clutched at that passes, you once recognized, silent and patient. We overcome our pride and revulsion to feed your fragile, hungry compulsion.
Fantastic.
That was really good. Yeah. See, the Cam is like super impressed.
I love the word firmament.
Somebody said, shake, so spear.
Anyhow, that was lovely, Cam. Now, sing.
Can you get it on the blog?
Yeah, sure. Who do I give it to?
Now you would give it to Mike Whitaker.
Okay.
But wait, give it to Brent to give to Mike, because you have another thing to do.
Hey, can I get the music for Summer Nights?
I don't know this one at all.
That's okay.
Kathleen pointed out that she thinks this will be a transcendent moment.
No pressure or anything.
I agree. I think it's the one that has
I've heard that before from people.
Yeah, we've got male chorus and female chorus lined up.
Oh, yes.
All right, yeah, I want everybody else to chime in and help out Cam and Kara.
Okay. You want to be Sandy or Danny?
I don't know who either of these people are.
Let's go crazy and have Cam be Danny.
Music's hot.
Oh, you're John Travolta, by the way, Cam. I hope that's okay for you.
Okay, had me a blast.
Summer lovin' happens so fast.
Met a girl crazy for me.
Met a boy, cute as can be. Summer days drifting away to all the summer nights.
Wella, tell me more, did you get very far?
Tell me more, like does he have a car? He went by me, got lost so damn.
Saved her life, she nearly drowned.
He showed off, splashing around. Summer song, something's begun. But up all the summer nights.
Wella, tell me more, was it love? Oh, wait, we sang the wrong one. Did she put up a fight?
What?
Yeah.
In the arcade, under the dock.
We stayed up till 10 o'clock. Summer fling don't mean a thing, but all the summer nights.
Tell me more, but you don't gotta brag.
Tell me more, Lizzie sounds like a drag. Friendly, holding my hand.
Well, he got friendly down in the sand.
He was sweet, just turned 18.
Well, she was good, you know what I mean.
Summer food. Yeah. Whoops. Boy, it drove me up all the summer nights. Tell me more, how much dough did we spend?
Tell me more, could she get me a friend?
If that's cool with you.
It turned colder, that's where it ends.
So I told her we'd still be friends.
Then we made our true love vow.
Wonder what she's doing now.
Summer dreams ripped at the seams. Those
Hooray!
There's a great
Cam, you're actually a really good singer.
There's a great college humor sketch about that song. That's it just sort of it goes to the guys at the beginning being like, tell me more, and then like one of the guys is like, did she put up a fight? And all the other greasers, all the other greasers are like, whoa, what? Dude,
Yeah.
do girls usually put up a fight with you? Because that's not okay.
Yeah.
And then they keep trying to sing, and then the guy keeps interjecting with like really like awful things, and the rest of the greasers are like, dude, you cannot hang out with us.
Oh, I want to see that.
Yeah, it's really good.